Now back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. We close out today's show. Ron Wong's already slipped out of the room. We're heading out to the golf tournament out there where he always is. But we appreciate our earlier guest on the show, including that surprise guest by Bill Dance. And I hope you like talking to Mandy Stokes about that big alligator that they found in South Alabama. But I recently got an email from a friend of mine about something that's going on. It involves the wonderful Hatchie River, and they're getting ready to have a public hearing concerning the permit that would allow construction of an industrial wastewater pipeline from the new 100 plus million mega site in western Haywood County that will tunnel under the Hatchie and through 25 of its tributaries. Well, I read a wonderful article in the Jackson Sun by Carol Reese. She's a ornamental horticulture specialist for the West Tennessee District of the UT Extension Service, and Carol's on the line with us this morning. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning. You got all my title correct.
I got a long title. You have to have a real big name badge. I can tell you that for a fact.
It's way too long.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you got a short name. That's the main
Me
thing
too.
about it. So tell my listeners a little bit about the column and when you wrote it. You've learned a lot since then, you said, when you wrote this column earlier in the month of June. And bring our folks up to date. I know the meeting is Monday, if I'm not mistaken, in Brownsville, if I'm not mistaken there. So kind of tell us, I know you're primarily a horticulture writer, right? But
I was actually invited to write a gardening column, but
yeah,
I've been doing
go.
it for 15 years. So
Yeah.
I get off on topics of conservation, and I've been accused of being more naturalist than horticulturist. So
that's okay.
That's a badge I wear proudly.
Yeah.
So, yes, I was talked to friends of mine who live in Brownsville and have always had an eye for the conservation. Have been friends with friends of the Hatchie River, which there are plenty, alerted me to this situation. So I have been interviewing several people and reading up on it and decided it needed some attention to make sure some people show up at this hearing.
And the hearing is at 5:30 on Monday at the Justice Complex, 100 South Dupree in Brownsville. And by reading Carol's article in the Jackson Sun, I also had a chance to learn a lot about the Hatchie, which all of us love, and it's the Tennessee Scenic Hatchery, Hatchie. And a lot of folks, you threw in some facts in there that I'd never really thought about, that it's one of the last 75 last great places on the planet. I didn't know that.
Well,
and it's got 100 species of fish. I knew that because I think I've caught 99 of them, so it seems like more than any. It's got 11 species of catfish, more than any other North American river. I didn't know that. And so you've taken this place, and if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned that it's the last intact clean waterway, according to the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation in the state. Is that right?
The last one in West Tennessee.
West Tennessee, yeah.
Yes, but if you look at, they actually have a map on their site, and they have the only clean ones in blue, and the rest of them are in red, and the Hatchie is the last one in West Tennessee. So, and it's also the last major unchannelized tributary, which, as you know, as a wildlife guy, how important those wetlands are.
Yes, yeah.
So that ability for that river to flood those wetlands and replenish those swamps and all the wildlife that flourishes in that setting. So all that's very important, and the fact that it's the last one that actually is considered clean and pristine and intact, and that the fish are clean enough for us to eat.
Yes, yeah. And then this project it's big bucks for West Tennessee. I mean, $100 million plus is a big job. It's a lot of money. But the way I understand it, the way you explain to it, is this treated wastewater up to 1 billion gallons per year would be sent back to the Hatchie through the Brownsville Energy Authority outfall at Sugar Creek. And I know Sugar Creek. I've been to Sugar Creek before. What's the reception you've heard from your column?
Well, that's sort of the head-scratching part. Why would you need to tunnel it all the way back to Brownsville?
Yeah.
Also, the fact that they're trying to get this passed through without a environmental impact study. They have requested that this get passed without doing an environmental impact study. So that just smells a little funny.
It does. And so that's why this meeting is so important for even you folks here in West Tennessee and in the Memphis area. You need to be this because the Hatchie not only affects, it's got tributaries. It's got other things that all of us know, and I cross.
It's got tributaries, and I don't think people really realize how much a big site like that is allowed to stay wild impacts all of us. Because even if you have a farm where you have wildlife, say for example, it might just be a little pocket where, and I always think about this because on the land that I own up in North Henderson County, I have 100 acres.
Uh-huh.
I think there's just one covey of quail. And so in the summer, I start hearing the young bobwhite call, and I think, where are they going to find mates?
Yes, that's exactly right.
There's no genetic diversity. If you just have, but when you have these big wild areas where there's a lot of genetic diversity, and it really helps the health of the wildlife overall, so it impacts all of us. And frankly, as a philosophical thing, I don't know who said this first, but as long as I know there are still some wild areas in the world, even if I never go there, I just feel like there's some peace in my mind that I can think about it. My mind can go there and say, aha, what a place for my mind to rest.
That sounds like John Muir to me.
It does sound like a John Muir.
It does exactly sound like that. And we're talking to Carol Reese. She is the ornamental horticultural specialist for the Western District of the UT Extension Service. She's based out of Jackson, talking about the permit that we need to really check on. It's called the TDEC permit, and I'm going to give it to you, TN0062367. And we've all been reading about the new mega site, the wastewater pipeline that's going in West Tennessee. But I haven't read much about this.
And if they didn't write that down, didn't have anything to write with, if you go to the UT Gardens Jackson Facebook page.
There you go. Okay.
You can hook up to my column and get all those numbers and the details in case you don't have something to write it down.
All right, give them that to that's the UT. What is it again now?
UT Gardens.
All right.
UT Gardens Jackson. There's a UT Gardens Knoxville as well, but UT Gardens Jackson is the Facebook page, and I always link my column to that Facebook page.
There you go.
So you can find it. Now, one thing I want to talk about, too, is not just, of course, hunters know the value of wetlands for the waterfowl and such, but for people who bird, and, lots of Americans love the birds, and a lot of our most interesting birds prefer to nest above water.
Mm-hmm.
The big heron rookeries, and parts of the Hatchie, to me, are very much like almost the primeval swamp feel of Louisiana.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
They're really awesome. And, it's really important that we keep this clean for all these creatures. I couldn't get over the fact that there were 25 different species of mussel.
Yeah, I saw that you had that listed in there, the 250 species of birds, 50 species of mammals.
One of our favorite mammals is, of course, a big feeder on those mussels. One thing I've been treated to see some in my lifetime are the river otters.
Oh, yeah. Well, it just... we wanted to close out today's show with Carol on with us to the importance of this. And like I say, I've posted on my website, lroutdoors.com. Folks, Monday night at 5:30 p.m. at the Justice Complex, 100 South Dupree in Brownsville. They'll have a public hearing on this. You can go to probably AmericanRivers.org and Google it or something, and you can find some of this information. Carol Reese, thank you for being with us this morning. And,
Larry, thanks for giving us some time on this. I appreciate it very much.
Late notice and everything. Keep us posted and keep up the good work, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Carol. All right, Carol Reese, and appreciate her work on that. Let me quickly tell you about next week's show. We're going to have Frank Barton will be in here as my co-host, and we're going to talk to Dr. Kevin McGowan of the Cornell Lab of Ornithology in Ithaca, New York. They've got a new pamphlet out that shows you what birds look like. I love it, and I always like to talk to Dr. McGowan. Michael McPhail, USA shooting team. Wow, he's going to be on next. He just come 2 legs of the World Cup, and looks like he's headed to Rio, and we're going to have Michael on next week's show. And NFL Hall of Fame tight end Jackie Smith. I know I love to talk to Jackie about Hobie boats. There's a popularity now of small boats and fishing in small ponds, and Hobie Boats has come up with some wonderful ideas. That's all on next week's show. So, Ron Wong, wherever you are, thank you. Greg,
He was itching to get to that golf course today.
He was itching to get to the golf course. Greg Ratliff, thank you for taking care of me. Again, great time at the fishing rodeo. Go to lroutdoors.com. Great pictures, the stories, everything going on there. Canoe and kayak races next week. We'll try to have Joe Royer maybe on that. This is Larry Ray reminding you to do each and every week that it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And God bless the USA.
You can find